Welcome to the session of abortions. This is a very clinically important entity which we see in clinical practice, as well as this topic is very important from your exam point of view. So let's study abortions today. We'll divide this topic on the following division, that is definition, what exactly abortion means, what are the types, what is the etiology, what are the common causes depending on the period of gestation of the abortion, what is the management, what are the likely complications, and what post-abortal care we should be giving to our patients. By definition, abortion means termination of pregnancy, maybe expulsion or extraction before the period of viability or when the fetus is less than 500 grams. Now this definition has changed over a period of time as the period of viability has changed, because initially it was considered as 28 weeks. The fetus becomes independently viable once it comes outside the uterine cavity. But now, because of improved NICU care, the definition has almost shifted to 20 weeks. 20 weeks and onwards, the fetus becomes viable. Before that, it is considered as non-viable fetus, and thus it is included in the definition of abortion. Abortion can be spontaneous or it can be induced. Now we are going to focus on spontaneous abortions, where the patient is willing to continue the pregnancy, but because of some clinical condition, diseases, disorders, she is unable to continue the pregnancy and the pregnancy gets spontaneously aborted. The incidence of this condition is almost 10 to 20% in all the clinical pregnancies, and out of which almost 80% occur in first trimester, out of which 50 to 75% abortions are because of chromosomal abnormalities. Spontaneous abortion can be of two varieties, either isolated or recurrent. One single abortion, or maybe getting repeated in next pregnancy, and likewise. Or it can be an induced abortion, legal or illegal. This we are not going to deal right now. We are just going to concentrate on spontaneous abortions. What are the types of spontaneous abortion? Threatened abortion, inevitable, incomplete, complete, and missed. These are all types of spontaneous abortions. A patient coming to us can be at any of these conditions. We have to diagnose it and treat it accordingly. Management of all these conditions vary from type to type, and we'll be seeing all these types in detail. Again, I want to highlight here that the incidence of spontaneous abortion in general population is almost 10 to 20%, and most common cause of first trimester abortion is either the defect in embryo or it can be called as chromosomal abnormality. This is a very important question asked most frequently, that what is the most common cause of first trimester abortion. Please remember, guys, that it is chromosomal abnormalities found in the embryo, or in other words we can call it as defect in an embryo. Now we are seeing the different causes. First one is genetic. Usually genetic is the cause in first trimester abortions. You all know first and second trimester. First trimester is till 12 weeks. Second trimester is then onwards, almost from 12 weeks to 20 weeks. So the causes are again divided. Most common causes in first trimester, most common causes in second trimester. We are seeing the causes in general. Genetic is the cause, but it is more commonly found in first trimester abortions. We may call it as blighted ova. Blighted ova is a clinical entity again. On ultrasound, you will find that the gestational sac is seen there, but you will not be able to see a fetal pole and fetal cardiac activity in that particular sac, and that is called as blighted ova. Usually these type of abortions are less than 8 weeks, and genetic cause is most common. Out of these genetic causes, a question can come this way, that which is the most common genetic abnormality which is seen in first trimester abortion. Now these abnormalities they can be trisomies. You all understand trisomy means presence of one extra chromosome. It may be anything from 1 to 23 chromosomes. Any chromosome can be extra. Except one, all the trisomies can get aborted. But which is the most common trisomy which gets aborted? And that is trisomy 16. Again, very important point. Many times this has been asked. Other trisomies are 13, 18, 21, 22 and likewise. Other abnormalities can be polyploidy. In polyploidy, a complete set of extra chromosome is added. That means if it is triploidy, then the chromosomal number would be 69. If it is tetraploidy, 92 and likewise. Monosomy. Over here one chromosome is absent. And the most common 45X. Other abnormalities can be translocations where the chromosomes are present but the genes are translocated. There can be deletions, inversions, and almost in 4% of these causes of genetic abnormalities, these varieties are seen. Moving ahead to the other important cause of first trimester abortion. Again, remember guys, after genetic abnormalities, endocrine, that means hormonal abnormalities, is the second most common cause of first trimester abortion. So if your MCQs doesn't have genetic abnormalities, you have to go for this cause as the most common cause. This is the second most common cause for first trimester spontaneous abortion. Now what are these? They can be luteal phase defect, thyroid abnormalities, and diabetes mellitus. As you all understand, luteal phase defect is where progesterone is deficient. It's not present in the body as per the requirement. So the decidua where the implantation takes place is not in congruence with the pregnancy. And this deficiency of progesterone leads to defective decidua formation and thus defective implantation, and the pregnancy cannot go ahead and it's get terminated, that is abortion. Thyroid abnormalities, both hypo and hyperthyroidism, both can cause abortions. Diabetes mellitus, especially if it is uncontrolled and or poorly controlled, can lead to abortion. So if you have a patient, we should take history or investigate her to rule out these abnormalities which are metabolic as well as hormonal. Anatomical causes. As you can see on the board, in second trimester abortion I have written uterine anomalies, that means anatomical causes. So this cause is more important from second trimester point of view. In second trimester, these are the most common causes which will lead to abortion. And the causes are cervical incompetence or congenital malformation of the uterus. Now what malformations? Common are like bicornuate uterus, septate uterus, unicornuate uterus. These are the abnormalities seen in the uterus which will lead to abortions, usually either late first trimester or in second trimester. Now what are the reasons? The uterine cavity is smaller, it cannot get distended, the decidua is defective, vascularity is affected, implantation is defective, and naturally after a certain gestational period the pregnancy cannot get carried forward. Uterine fibroids. Depending on the size of the fibroid and the location of the fibroid, it causes abortion. If the fibroid is bigger and more towards the cavity, that means the submucous variety, is more likely to affect the pregnancy, and abortions are quite commonly seen in these type of uterine fibroids. Intrauterine adhesions, synechia formation. You all remember once I say intrauterine adhesion, Asherman syndrome has to come to your mind. Asherman syndrome, over there are intrauterine adhesions, and these adhesions again lead to defective decidua formation. The decidua is not at all receptive, the vascularity is not good, placental implantation is defective, and thus it leads to abortions. Cervical incompetence, most common cause, where we are going to see this cause in detail, so I did not stress it, but just to explain that the cervix is incompetent. It cannot hold the pregnancy for a longer period, the internal os opens up and pregnancy gets terminated. To stress the point that this is again the most common cause of second trimester spontaneous abortion. Going towards the next cause, infections. These infections will again lead to second trimester abortion than first trimester. And the infections are viral infections, parasitic, and bacterial. Viral in the form of rubella, cytomegalo, varicella. Parasitic, you all know torch group, toxoplasma, malaria. Bacterial, ureaplasma and chlamydia. These are the bacterial infections which will lead to abortions. Again, a bigger and important chunk of immunological causes which leads to spontaneous abortions. What happens? Our body have antigens and antibodies are formed against our own antigens. They can be anti-nuclear antibodies, there can be anti-DNA or anti-phospholipid antibodies, and which are the two most important